Just parachuted into northern Tibet. Got them in land. This is Joven Slater. As you can see, we're undeveloped country. As Rob put it, a developed country, they have the necessary infrastructure to provide them with protection from the climate. You have hot water, food, and everything else that's provided for you. Undeveloped country. I mean, look, you gotta deal with snow. This is cold, all right? To make a fire, keep yourself warm, you're gonna have to build your home out of wood. You also have to use wood to keep you warm, building a fire. And finding food. People living in undeveloped countries are gonna have to hunt for their food. This is the harsh reality of living in an undeveloped country. And, it's definitely gonna be hard out here. Hopefully, I'll learn from my man Bear Thrills. Bear Thrills, why don't you come over here? Help me out here. Need a little expertise on handling for these harsh conditions. How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir?
My name's Bear Thrills, and I've been living in the northern Tibet area for 30 years. Alright? Let me tell you a little something. Shelter is a key factor here in surviving. Over here, we have my hut I've weaved out of plain straw that I scavenged from Sherpas and crazy people like that. And a couple of them didn't like it, but we also have my bed made of rock here, also serving as a fire pit, as some people would call it. And basically what we have here is, if you don't have these necessary shelters to survive, well, first of all, you're not going to have anywhere to sleep. You're just going to freeze to death.
It's going to be harsh.
It is going to be harsh. As you can see, there's not much food around here. There's not much of anything. So I'm just going to go collect some firewood so we can talk about this later. I'll be back.
All right. Thank you for that one, Bear Thrills. So, as I explain later, we're going to have a tough time here out in the harsh conditions of northern Tibet. So, we'll keep posted on how we survive.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Roberts.
So, who can tell me about the homework from last night and the main ideal here of the dynamics of population explosion?
Me.
Anyone?
Me.
Anyone?
Me.
Alright, little Billy.
There's a graph on page 139 if you'd like me to explain it for you.
Very well. That'll do.
Thanks, Mr. Roberts. Well, as you can see on this graph, on the y-axis you have the billions of people, all the way up to about 14 billion. And on the x-axis you have the timeline between 1000 AD to 500 AD. And as you can see, through about 1000 AD, there's a steady rate of population, just a bit lower than 1 billion of people. And right at about 1850, you can see that we really started to increase our population. In less than 200 years, we exploded up to 6 billion, adding on from the 1 billion we had, to the current population now in the world, 7 billion people.
It's time to discuss the factors influencing family size in developing and developed nations. In the developed nations, for example, here we have little Tommy playing Xbox all day, sitting here draining the electric bill. Liability? You decide. Yes, it is liability. And as you look around, you can see everything else that is considered a liability issue. We have a nice bed to sleep in, books for education that cost money, a nice warm house so he's comfortable. That's considered liability. Alright, Bear Thrills here, back out in northern Tibet. On the other hand of the issue of kids being liabilities in developing as opposed to developed countries or not, well, let's be honest here. I'm not gonna lie. In developed countries, kids are liabilities. For instance, we just saw a kid draining his electric bill by playing Xbox for about 20 hours straight and getting 4 hours of sleep. In developing countries here, we have kids such as little Tommy helping his family out. When in developing countries, as they have farms up here in northern Tibet or farms down in Africa that need to be worked, they will there have more children as helping hands on the farm. This creates a better environment for the family, less work that needs to be done, more efficiently.
Moving on to the next issue on absence of development. Here in a developed nation such as the United States, as you can see, we have a lot of infrastructure, better infrastructure, and definitely different than in undeveloped nations where they lack development and infrastructure. Here in developed nations, you can go to any place, really, get whatever you need, grocery store. Like as you can see, Amazon is right over there. Kids can go play. And like we're at Dunkin' Donuts right now, as you can see. Say hi to the camera.
Yep.
So that's basically it. Absent development here in developed nations, we do have the infrastructure to meet our necessary needs, and in less developed nations, such as the ones in Africa and in the Eastern Hemisphere, they lack the access to development, which is tough for them to live. This is Jobin Slater. We just got done showing you footage of developed nations' infrastructure, how like you can go to buildings, get whatever you want. But here we're in northern Tibet, and as you can see, the bare landscape is tough for people to have an easy way of life. The infrastructure, as you can see, there's nothing. As opposed to in America, you have buildings, schools, roads, highways, anything. So it's pretty tough to live out here with the bare landscape. People have to, find their home, hunt for food, keep warm. It's very tough out here with the absence of development.